So we've got another track here, which is the Bella Noise Dirty Feet. If you like the sound of this, then you can check it out on Bandcamp here. See, it's the second track on this Wonderland EP, and it will be available on Spotify very soon as well. Okay, so we've got another kind of artificial problem here. Just have a listen. I've kind of given it away in the title, but this is an example where it feels like the transient energy of the drums is not kind of balanced with the more sustaining aspects of the track. Let me just bring in, this is not an isotope plugin, but let's just bring in Shaperbox 3. You can use any oscilloscope. So we can just have a look at the transient information there. So it feels like definitely the drums are lacking a little bit of kind of impact. So let's have a look at the transient and sustain modes of Ozone 11 to see if we can alleviate this problem. So I'll bring in Ozone 11 and let's start off with maybe an exciter. Now from Ozone 10 and before, we would be able to work in stereo mode and mid-side mode, but now we can actually work on the transients or the sustains of the sound. This is really exciting as it opens up a whole load of new possibilities of how we can transparently improve stereo mixes, and also it's going to have applications to kind of process loops and things like that. So if we come up to this menu here and we change stereo to transient sustain, we can now choose to have a different processing path for the transients and the sustains. Now let's have a listen to what we've got here. So that is what it's analyzing as being the transients if I solo that. Now we can even push this further by processing only the drums. So there's a little bit of bleed from the other instruments, but definitely it's really isolating the drums a lot more. So let's work on the drums there, and let's add in some tape saturation here. Let's push it up into where more the transient energy is, around the 6K. It's not only there, but so that's what we're adding in. So using these solos, you can see we can kind of push this quite far in terms of how much we can hone in on what it is we're trying to do. Let's put oversampling on. Let's exaggerate it. Okay, let's push this a little bit further. Let's grab some EQ and let's try a bit of a boost here. And once again, let's make this kind of focused on the transients. It's filtering down there, so let's go to a different section. Let's try another little bit of processing here as well, so we'll leave that on for the mid-range. Let's try a different setting, the higher frequencies. So you can hear that by focusing this processing on just the drums and using the exciter, in this case, in the EQ and transient mode, we've been able to really increase the transient information of the drums. Now let's compare this to actually working with the full mix and see the difference. Now I'm going to make a smaller loop so we can really kind of notice the difference here. So you can really hear the difference there, because when we have it on the full mix, you can hear the vocals suddenly got this kind of extra punch to it, which is not what we were going for. Whereas in the drum setting, it's really kind of focusing more on the drums, which is fantastic. Okay, so let's have a look at another idea of how we could use the transient sustain mode. Okay, so let's have a listen to this version of the track. And these are all artificial problems I've created. These weren't present in the pre-master. So we've got a very kind of muddy, unfocused relationship between the kick and the bass. Okay, so I'm going to do this in a similar way. So we use the Mothership plugin so we can use the stem focus. And let's come to the drums here and let's add in some EQ. So what I'm going to aim to do here is I'm going to try and push the kick drum down beneath the bass. So I'm going to try and focus in. We're just working on the drums. Let's just work on the transient of the drums. And I'm going to look for the fundamental of the kick. Let's put this to a bell. Okay, so I'm going to try and boost there. Let's take that out. And I'm going to create a complementary cut around 80 to try and clear some space out for the bass. Yeah, I think it's kind of alleviating the problem a little bit. Let's try a different section here. So you can hear when it's hitting that note, it's especially bad. Let's get another Ozone 11 up. And let's have a look at the bass this time. And let's grab an EQ. And there's still too much information, I feel, around that kind of 80 area. Now, we don't have to work with the transients in the sustain because the bass has mostly kind of sustain energy with a little bit of transient information in the kind of articulation of the note. Let's say we wanted to bring out a little bit of articulation. Let's see if we can get anything going with the exciter in transient mode on the bass. So we'll do that kind of a little bit higher up than the kind of low end of the bass. Okay, you can hear there's quite a lot of bleed coming from elsewhere, but it's definitely enhancing the attack of the bass. Now, something else we could do now we're in this mode is actually just turn down the bass overall. And now we've managed to create a little bit more space in the low end of the track by combining those two techniques. So we've basically done quite a drastic move on the kick drum there by taking out some of that 80 hertz, which was causing a big problem clashing with the bass, and boosting below that. And we've done that just on the drum stem. And then to complement that, what we've done is taken the bass and we've added in an EQ, just actually again cutting a little bit of that 80 hertz, which was causing a problem, and an exciter just to try and bring out a bit more of articulation from the bass. Okay, so let's look at one last example, which is going to be a little bit more of a sustained kind of example. So in this case, we have a bit of kind of muddiness going on. This is the problem I often see with pre-masters coming in. Let's grab Ozone 11 and let's try and work on the sustain to alleviate this problem. So again, let's grab the EQ and let's come across to here. Let's grab the sustain and let's have a look at trying to isolate where the problem is. Yeah, I think that might be a good area to start. So we'll just bring down the EQ curve. Let's take it out of solo. So again, as I talked about at the beginning, we're trying to achieve with mastering the same kind of thing we're trying to achieve with mixing, to make a mix which is kind of big sounding, you know, and you'll hear that the mid-range, the lower mids, kind of this kind of area especially, it can have a tendency to make the track sound kind of boxy and boxed in to the speakers. So listen to when I bring this in and out, it kind of stretches a little bit. So yeah, it definitely helps to kind of open things up a little bit. Now, just to finish up, let's just have a think about something else we could try doing here. So let's say let's do this on a new Ozone. We don't just have to use the EQ and exciter modules. There are other modules that we can use that maybe you wouldn't think of using. So let's say we did go for the exciter. So we'll go transient mode, oversampling, and let's drive in a little bit of tape saturation here, just to get a bit more going. Do it on the drums. So the drums are punching through a little bit more. Let's grab the imager and let's try just actually creating a bit of stereo information just on the transients, which you wouldn't always want to do, but it's good just to have that option if maybe the drums are a little bit too mono, a little bit kind of flat sounding. We can even stereoize this. That's me exaggerating it. We can use either of these two modes, try them out. So just a super powerful way of being able to kind of reach in and really manipulate a stereo file. So just once again, let's just take the treatment in and out. Adjust this slightly. So quite a nice way of being able to kind of alleviate the problem that was associated with this pre-master. So that's the transient and sustain mode. So remember, we access it from here. Transients are obviously the transient information, so we can EQ, excite, stereo image, the transients or the sustains in different ways. Really, really powerful stuff. Great new feature from Ozone 11. Okay, so now we've covered that transient and sustain mode. In the next video, we're going to have a look at the vocal balance. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.